Hello everybody, and welcome back to your review. This one is going to be covering covalent bonding and the naming of covalent compounds. This is your review video 4, so for unit 4 you should have already looked at your first 3 review videos, and we are just going to move right along here. So let's look at covalent bonds. Remember, your covalent bonds occur between 2 nonmetals. Okay, so whereas your ionic bonds occur between a metal and a nonmetal, your covalent bonds will occur between 2 nonmetals, so those that are on the right-hand side of the periodic table. A covalent bond is a sharing of electrons, okay, and the goal is still to attain stability. So even though these atoms are going to be sharing their electrons, they're both still wanting to get to, or all of them want to get to having 8 valence electrons in their outermost shell. So here with this particular example, this is Cl2, so 2 chlorine atoms that are bonded. They each have 7 valence electrons, okay? So they are in group 17. They each have 7 valence electrons. They each only need 1 to fill their outermost shell. So what they do is they come together and they share this bond in the middle, these 2 electrons. So they each have a full octet. They're each happy, they're each stable, and they're sharing those electrons in the middle. Okay, when we look at naming covalent compounds, you first identify which elements are present. And then secondly, you look at the subscript of each element to determine which prefix is used. So if an element does not have a prefix, you assume that subscript is 1. And remember, all those subscripts are back in your lesson on covalent compounds. So if you need a refresher on those, go back and take a look. So remember, 2 is di, 3 is tri, so on and so forth. Third, you're going to apply the naming scheme. So if the prefix of the first element would be mono, it's not needed. Okay, so if the first element has a 1, you don't have to add the mono to it. Okay, so let's do an example. So we're going to provide the name of the following covalent compound. So we've got an Se and an F6. So the first thing we want to do is identify the actual elements that are present. So we've got selenium and then we've got fluorine. Okay, so we've got one atom of selenium here, okay, because we don't see a subscript, so we're assuming it's 1, and we've got 6 atoms of fluorine here. So with our selenium, we don't have to say monoselenium because it's the first element, so we're just going to say selenium, okay? And then we're going to use our prefix for the 6. And if you go back and look at your notes for covalent bonding, 6 is going to be hexa. So we're going to say selenium, hexa, and then we're going to end it with that ion, which is going to be the fluoride, okay? So we're going to have selenium hexafluoride here. All right, so now we're going to provide the formula of the following covalent compound. So we're going to work backwards. So here we've got a dinitrogen trioxide. Okay, so first of all, we've got dinitrogen. Let's identify what our element is, which is going to be nitrogen, which is going to be N. And then the di is indicating that there's 2. So there's 2 atoms of nitrogen in this compound. Okay, so then let's move on to the trioxide. Oxide, right, is going to be our oxygen ion. So oxygen is going to be our second element in this compound. And then the tri is going to refer to 3. Okay, so we've got 2 atoms of nitrogen from the dinitrogen, and we've got 3 atoms of oxygen coming from that trioxide. So our formula is going to be N2O3. Okay, and so that's just kind of how you can work forwards and backwards in determining your the name of your covalent compounds. Okay, so that one was pretty quick. That was a review of your covalent bonding, which is just a sharing of electrons, and then also how to find the names of covalent compounds and determine their formulas if given the name. Again, you guys can also always go back and review your assignments and your notes in more detail if you need it, or reach out if you need any additional help. So you guys are almost there. One video left to look at, and then you will be set to take your Unit 4 assessment.